Hi everyone, it's Snipezy. Today we are going to be doing a video about myself and it's called 20 Things That You Probably Didn't Know About Me. So the reason why I'm making this video is to celebrate that we have hit a whole year on this channel. So I'm going to tell you more about myself so that you can get to know me more as a person that's behind the games. So it's a bit like the video, the person behind the video games tag thing. It's a bit like that but with more answers and all that cool stuff. More info about me, more GC info so you get to know more about me. But anyways, let's get started. Alright, so number one. I am a university student and I am studying animation, visual effects and game art. I know that's like a hefty title there. So originally I did apply to university to do games development, but I quickly changed my mind. When I went to an open day to check out this course and I talked to the course leader, I noticed that it wasn't something I originally wanted to do. I thought it was completely out of my depth. I thought it just wasn't my cup of tea at all, so I decided to change onto the other course that they provided, which was what I'm doing right now. And I'm also in my second year in university, so hopefully this year I'm going to be able to specialise in game art, so I can't wait for that. Okay, so number two, I am Welsh and I am currently living in Wales as well. So I live in a pretty small village. Well, it's not a small village, it's a big one. It should really be a town, but technically this place is called a village. But anyways, yeah, I'm very proud to be Welsh. Go Cymru! If some of you guys are wondering, yes, I can speak a tiny bit of Welsh. Like, I wasn't brought up to speak Welsh, it's not my first language, it's my second language. So the thing that I can think off my head is Dwi'n hoffi pêl-droed. And that means I like football in Welsh. But I actually don't, guys, I don't like football at all. I'm sorry for you guys, I do like football, but it's just not my thing at all. Okay, so number three, that's three, yeah, number three. I am 19 years old. Just a quick thing about me, but not many people know that I'm actually 19. Okay, so number four. I like to think that I have a lot of positivity in me, like, I'm very optimistic about people where I like to see the good side in them and not the bad. Even if there's people I don't like, I'm able to see a positivity in them where I'm like, okay, so they're not bad. It's like a way of compromise between people. So say like if I came across someone who didn't like something, but I did, I'd be like, yeah, I get what you mean by that, but I still like it. So you could say that I'm kind of on the fence about things, but it's just how I am. I don't like being horrible to people. I think it's just not it's not in me. I'm too soft on people. Alright, so number five, I have a lot of pets here. It's actually crazy. So we have two dogs, which are both British Bulldogs, and one of them is called Roxy and the other one is called Hugo, and I gotta say, we also have a pet cat called Smudge, and he's like a standard, like, black and white cat. I don't really know what his breed's called, so I'm not great with cat breeds, I don't know all of them. We also did have a rabbit, like a full white rabbit called Snowy, but he unfortunately passed away due to an injury that he had, and he was also very old, so he couldn't really recover well from it. And we also have a large pond with like koi carps and other fish like that. I think there's about 16 of them, I think. And also one of them recently passed away, which was like a goldfish. It was me and my sister's goldfish. And it was weird because my dad just decided to put them in the pond. And now they're all like grown up, like they've mutated into like koi carp super breeds or hybrids or whatever the hell they are. But I think they've both passed away now, or one of them did, I'm not sure. But anyways, on to number six. I've always had a very strange obsession with Sonic. It's actually kind of unhealthy that I did have that. So it was a lot of the standard stuff where I would pretend to be Sonic. I'd also get my friends in it as well. I'd like join in with them and I'd pretend to be Sonic and things like that. It was kind of embarrassing. Like, I remember when I tried to reenact the Sonic Hero scene near the end where everyone's into their super form with my friends, and that was just so embarrassing. Every time I think about that, I always just cringe. So on to number 7. I have never had a job in my life. I have never been employed by anyone. I haven't had a proper documented job or anything like that. I've always been unemployed, and I'm proud. I don't care if I haven't had a job. Okay, so on to number 8. I love gaining knowledge from things, like every day. I like learning new stuff, whether it's something really like, oh, okay, that was kind of odd, but I'm glad I know it. For example, I was watching the new Finding Dory film, and it actually taught me that an octopus has 3 hearts, which was something I never knew, ever, and I thought that was very interesting. But yeah, I like learning new stuff. It doesn't mean I like reading books all the time or whatever, although I kind of do like reading books a little bit, but not loads on like major knowledge stuff. But I always like learning things from like here and there. Alright, so on to number 9. Well, that was hard. I am a bit of a major geek, as you can probably tell by this room. I just love things that are like to do with comic books, video games, sci-fi, all the nerdy type stuff I'm kind of into. Like, the major thing that I'm into that's majorly nerdy is probably Marvel and stuff like that, and DC. It's my thing that I'm into that's that's kind of generic in terms of geeky stuff, but not to say all geeks are into Marvel or whatever. You can be into whatever you want, like Star Trek or Star Wars or whatever the hell you want to be a geek. Whatever you want. Alright, so on to number 10. I've always kind of had an interest to art. I've always been pulled into it. I just like to observe different types of styles and things that appeal to me. Like, I remember going to galleries whilst I was studying art, and I just loved to like go through the galleries and appreciate what people have done. I think it was really cool. Like when we went to London, we went to one of the galleries, Tate London. That was pretty cool. And we also went to the National Gallery and stuff like that, I think. And I've been to a few other places as well that's kind of local and kind of near the area, as well as Liverpool. I think that was pretty cool. Liverpool was probably one of my favourites in terms of the art that they have there. But I've always just liked to check things out. As well as on Instagram, I follow a lot of art stuff on Instagram. I really like looking at people's styles, game art stuff they do, environment, characters. I've always liked that kind of stuff. And it's kind of like why I decided to go for an art type course as well. Okay, so on to number 11. I'm not going to bother doing the things with my fingers anymore because I think I've run out of numbers. So for those of you that are wondering, yes, I did do GCSEs, and the subjects that I studied, like I chose to study, were product design, ICT, art and design, and food technology. But within the first month or so, I decided to drop food tech because I just realised it wasn't my thing. It was just so in-depth that I didn't like it at all. I preferred the practical side of it, but there was hardly any of that. Although I did apply to do catering, but they didn't have the right slot for me, so I pretty much just moved on to something else, and I chose to do health and social care, and I've had no regrets at all. And in terms of the grades, I got a distinction star in health and social, which is the equivalent to an A star, a distinction in IT, so that's an A, and then I got a D in product design, and I got a B in art, I think, yeah, and then overall, so that's like distinction star, 1 distinction star, 1 distinction, 2 Bs, no, 4 Bs, I think I got 3 Cs maybe, 4 Cs, and 2 Ds, so not bad. Also, I have done A-levels as well. It wasn't my thing at all. I probably would have preferred to go to college. But the subjects that I did in A-level were art and design again, health and social care again, computering, and ICT. When I went to the few odd lectures of ICT, I realised how much of a mistake I made. I was like, I don't want to do 2 subjects that are about computers. It was just too much for me. So I decided to drop ICT. As well, the school that I had to go for that place was scary. I did not like that at all. So instead of that, I decided to take on applied science, and I think I'm pretty glad that I did do science because it was another one of those subjects that I enjoyed learning about in specific areas. Like, I liked learning about the biological side of it, and a bit of chemistry, really. I liked that side of it as well. So the grades that I got were a C in art, a E in computering, and I got a distinction star again in health and social care. So in my second year I basically decided to drop science. So in the first year I got an E, but I think I should have just done science instead of computering as well, because at the time I thought I need computering to do what I want to do video games, all that stuff. I thought I had to do video games, but really you don't have to if you follow the route I'm going down. Like, you don't specifically have to do something that's about video games, but as long as you're going towards the area in video games you want to go in, like marketing or art, like what I'm doing, or programming, QA testing, all that stuff, as long as you're going down the right path, then really you should do whatever subjects you want to do. So on to number 12, I have a very bad obsession with carbohydrate stuff. So that includes pasta, noodles, spaghetti, potatoes. I just love them. I kind of eat them on a daily basis, which is kind of bad, but I can't resist. I'm sorry, but I can't resist the carbohydrates. I love them so much. So on to number 13, I didn't actually own a mobile phone until I was 17, which was in A-levels, which is like, what? So my first phone was an iPhone. I think it was the 4GS. It was a phone that my dad gave to me. I didn't exactly ask for a phone before, but I was coming up to that age where, like, I should have had a phone by now because, you know, in case something happened I can call someone. You know, if I'm in a bit of trouble or I need some help or I need to be picked up somewhere, I can call or text someone. So yeah. So number 14, and this may be a bit of a shock for some people, but I'm actually quite antisocial, and I kind of prefer being on my own company, really. Which is kind of sad, I know, but I don't really like talking to people a lot. I just tend to get on with my own stuff. I like to kind of have my own thoughts, my own head. But that doesn't mean I don't enjoy talking to people. I definitely do. Like, I always like to talk to my friends, like when I'm in uni and stuff. But normally if people saw me on the outside, they probably notice that I don't really like attention. I don't really like talking to people that I don't know. I struggle with new people and that kind of stuff, but yeah. Okay, so number 15, and this is kind of crazy. I went on my first ever holiday with friends last year, and we went to Faliraki. That was a hell of a crazy holiday, but it was so fun. Like, the nightlife, it was absolutely crazy. Like, there was people everywhere, going out, going to the clubs, going to the bars. Like, it was just so busy, but it was like really good. Like, I think it was just a really good environment, really. Just as long as you're not just in case you haven't drank too much, because they did have those tattoo shops, and I saw people going in, and I felt really bad for them. But the weather was really, really nice, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But by the end of the holiday, the weather got unbearably hot, and I gotta say, I don't know how we managed to survive before we left, because if I didn't go into the pool on the last day, I probably would have been burnt to a crisp and sunburned myself and all that awful stuff. Okay, so number 16. I used to think I had a fear of astrology and astronomy type stuff. You know, like space in general, really. It just kind of, the thought kind of freaked me out, really. And I also did a bit of a project of that in my artwork, really, which was kind of weird. Like, I just touched on the fear that people had. I can't remember the name of it, but there was a particular name of fear where people don't like space and stuff, and I interpreted it with like some Photoshop, awful Photoshop skills and photography and stuff like that. But now whenever I look up into the sky, I have no fear at all. It doesn't freak me out. It's just the stuff about like, oh, in millions and millions of years, millions and millions of years, things are going to change and stuff like that. That kind of freaks me out, but other than that, I don't really, I'm not too bothered, to be honest. Okay, so on to number 17, and this is a bit more on video games now. It may be interesting for some of you, but I did a project on Slender Man for my AS in art and design. So for my exam, I wanted to do things about Slenderman, horror type things. I had to choose a word for my project for my exam, so I decided to choose composition. So I did try and relate it to the actual subject of Slenderman, but I wanted to do something kind of horror type thing, kind of scary. I wanted to cover that type of stuff in my art project, and it related to video games and theories and stuff like that. But that did mean I had to look into the actual creepypasta stuff in Slenderman, and I gotta say, the more I read about it, the more freaked out I got about it. I thought I shouldn't have done this at all, because the stories I read were just scary, you know? And I also looked at the symbols as well. It's crazy. But if you want to check out something I did for my actual project, if you want to check out something that I did do for my project, two things actually. I have a video of a good friend that he did for me. He played Slenderman for me, and he gave me the footage just so I can show that for my art project. So I thank him for that. And I also did my own kind of video that also another friend helped me with, and I was dressed up as Slenderman. And my film was filming the video, was filming a video for me, as if she was picking up a page from Slenderman. If you check it out, you'll know what I mean. Although things did go a little bit wrong, like I forgot to do the part at the end where you see Slenderman's face, but that didn't really bother me too much. I made it a bit of my own thing. So I think that was kind of cool. Okay, so on to number 18. I have actually been active on YouTube for nearly 4 years. So for those of you that do know about me in full depth, I don't think anyone would, but, well, apart from my friends, of course. But I did have a YouTube channel called Snipezy42. That was like my name then. It was just such a bad name. But I decided to change it, but I wanted to have a name where I would still have my own name, where I wouldn't feel like I've just changed everything about myself on YouTube. I wanted to keep my integrity. So this is why I chose this name, Snipezy. So I basically did videos with my friend. One of my friends is Mr. JGLFC, who is actually, he now owns the channel of XIII, and we basically used to do videos where we'd collab, and I did do a collab thing quite a while ago, probably a year ago. But I'd like to do more stuff like that again. I'd like to do some more collaborative videos. I'd love to do that again. But yeah, that's the type of stuff that we used to do. So on to number 19. I hate any insect that is able to fly in any form. Like daddy long legs, flies, wasps, moths. Apart from butterflies, actually, they're cute. But anything other than that that is not cute, I absolutely despise them. I hate things that fly, or things that buzz or anything like that. They just creep the hell out of me. I do not like it. Honestly, it's not fun at all. Now on to the final one, number 20. I really like horror films. I particularly don't like the gory horrors at all. I hate horrors that are just too gory for me. I think it kind of spoils the film, where, like, I just want to know the story about the horror and all that type of stuff. So it kind of explains why I like psychological horror films, like a horror with more story. So, such as Cloverfield, Resident Evil's actually pretty cool, even though it's got a bit of gore. Sinister, The Conjuring, loads of horrors that I like that I just thoroughly enjoy. I think it's really cool to just watch the story go by, and I think it's pretty cool. The thing I really like about those films as well is that I find them more engaging, and they tend to have a good plot as well. Whereas with gore, you're just kind of made to watch because you're like, oh, I can't watch, but I can't stop looking. I don't know what to do. It's kind of like that, but but when you do see the horror, it kind of scars you a little bit. It's like, oh no, no thank you. So anyways, that's about the end of this video. So I hope that you enjoyed this different type of video and you got to know more about me. So please give me a like if you did, or leave a dislike if you didn't, if you think I'm that much of a weirdo. I can just imagine some people just looking at this video and thinking, I need to get the hell away from this channel now. I need to find someone else to find interesting. But anyways, leave a comment if you got any suggestions or what you thought of this video. Also in the comments you can put down something about yourself as well if you want to. But other than that, let me know what you thought of the video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date on my channel. So anyways, thank you very much for joining me guys, and I will see you in the next part of whatever I do. So until then, bye!